Hello everyone, Ben here, and welcome to just another normal election prediction. I'm going to try and have an election night video on Trump versus... who was I actually planning on doing it? Trump versus one of my not likely, unlikely candidates. Because I think the matchup would be interesting, and also because of a lot of reasons, and that candidate is Dwayne Johnson. And I actually think that he would have a good chance, but anyway. Today we're just doing, and the reason why is just because I've had a lot of work over the weekend. I haven't had time to prepare, slideshow, the slides or the presentation format. Anyway, so today we're just going to do a normal prediction for Terry McAuliffe versus Donald Trump. And of course, Terry McAuliffe is the incumbent governor here in Virginia. And he's got a lot of the same issues Clinton had. And that is that he is extremely establishment. As a matter of fact, he may be more establishment than Clinton. And here's the thing, he has very close ties to the Clintons. I don't think that will play well. He would obviously win his home state if we're talking about swing states. It'd be somewhat close, but it'd be about 3-4%. Now on to other swing states. Oops, I meant to give that to Terry McAuliffe. I think Donald Trump would win Arizona by 4 to 5 points in this scenario. I'll still leave it as a lean just because it's moving that way anyway. He would probably be able to, I think he would win Georgia, North Carolina, and Florida by a little bit larger margins than he did in 16. I think North Carolina would be about 4 or 5 points maybe. Georgia would approach 8 or 9. Florida would be about 2%. I don't think he'd actually be able to increase his margin in Florida by a lot, just because Florida's too much of a swing state for that to happen. Trump would probably easily win that district. So as we can already see, Democrats have a few issues here. Trump just needs to pick off he would need 2 states if he got one of these 2, and he would win the election. He would still need 2 if he got this, but if he got any one of these, he only needs 1. And I think he would get it. First, I think he would actually flip the statewide vote in Maine, just ever so slightly. It'd probably be like maybe 2,000, by 2,000 votes or so. It'd be really, really close. He would pick up New Hampshire. And I think maybe there is some credence to a theory that I've heard that Nevada will always go Democrat now because of the massive ground game that Harry Reid has built up in Nevada. But I think maybe it'd allow Trump to flip Colorado ever so slightly again, but also pick up the additional votes from Minnesota. I think this would be a reasonable map. Obviously, Minnesota and Colorado could go the other way, and Trump only has a slight gain in the Electoral College. But I think this isn't too much of an assumption to make, considering how weak Terry McAuliffe is outside of Virginia and how weak I think he would be to a Midwest voter. He doesn't really have a lot of appeal, and considering that the race between his successor and Republican Ed Gillespie, so the race between Ralph Northam and Ed Gillespie is so close here in Virginia. I just don't see that as a positive for his 2020 chances. I know this is, maybe this one sounds a little bit biased, but trust me, I think we're going to see two that maybe aren't that biased. Because I do think there are candidates that can beat Trump. I just don't think they are establishment, nor do I think they are. There's one, like I said, out of the traditional politicians I've done so far, and I intend to do more now that I'm getting to the end of my list, and I'm thinking, maybe I should do more. I'm thinking there are very few Democrats I see as truly capable of challenging Trump. And you've already seen one in Sherrod Brown from Ohio, who I did predict would win the election if he were to run. I've gone down the list in terms of how likely I think it is that a candidate would win, and sometimes this corresponds with a larger electoral blowout, sometimes this doesn't. Sometimes the map has been the same. But the next candidate, I think, would be able to give Trump a run for his money. I think he'd be a good choice for Democrats if they're willing to elect someone who isn't a traditional Democrat. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a nice day, and I'll see you on Friday for an election night style video.